what is your name? And he answered and said, my name is Legion, for we are many. And also he begged him earnestly that he would not send him out of the country. Who begged Jesus? The unclean spirit Legion. He didn't want to leave where? Y'all scared yet? You're going to be. You're going to be. So who is Legion? Who is Legion? Legion means many. Legions are the many unconscious aspects of our own self that we have rejected, paid no attention to, ignored. Legion are the many aspects of our own collective soul, even in our community. Those souls in our community, in our city, in our nation, that we have rejected, paid no attention to, ignored. What we talk about at an individual level, we ignore what's going on inside of our soul, and we ignore as a community those souls that we don't want to look at. There are people that we have, there are people that we don't want to look at. That's why they build bypasses around the cities, because they want to avoid certain neighborhoods. They don't want you to look at it. That's why I understand that when business people go behind closed doors and they develop city plans and they loop the city around the so-called ghetto, they are saying that you are who? Legion. And when you ignore what's going on in your own darkness of your heart, your soul, when you don't deal with yourself, you are segregating the part of yourself that you want to deal with as Legion. Who is Legion? Every person, every community, every city, every country has legions. Many demons, devils, undeveloped gods, whose potential remains in a chaotic state. These are unclean spirits that are in us. Who is Legion? We are Legion. We have these what kind of spirits? Unclean spirits. Let's understand, what is an unclean legion spirit? Now, I want you to understand that. I'm going to take more time. This is not for children. This is for adults, but it affects your children. Y'all ready? Yeah. Are you scared yet? Yeah. You will be. To truly understand the implications of this story of Jesus and Legion, we must answer the question, what is disease? You see, because when you look at the story, many of us in our modern society, when you see a person that is suicidal, a person that is wrapped up in strength and he can't be held down or chained and shackled, he's a wild man, running, you say he's what? Crazy. And if you try to deal with that crazy person like you deal with children in school that are uncontrollable, can't sit still, always running, doing bad things. We have a society where we say that person has a mental problem and we want to give them medicine. We want to give them, because we treat it as if it's just simply a physical, mental problem. Because many of you have been trained in the Eurocentric Western idea that discounts spirit. And you think that if you're sick, you got a headache, got a stomach ache, if you think that you have a behavioral problem, it simply can be addressed by going to a doctor and taking a pill. That's what you believe. But disease does not start in the physical. Disease starts from a realm high above the physical. Disease starts in the spiritual world and comes down into the physical. So when we are trying to deal with a problem, be it behavioral or physical or mental, with medicine, with exercise, with food, we are only dealing with it at its manifest state, but not at its source. To understand the source of things, things come from a non called spirit. And that's where you got to pay attention. Y'all all right? Yeah. You want to go further? Yeah. Let's go. Where does disease originate? Disease in the physical sense is the result of an imbalanced state of destructive physical sources called the nephrotic source. A destructive spiritual source. There are two energy sources that flow, that create our reality. A destructive force and a constructive force. The destructive force is labeled as the nephrotic force. That's Qlippoph. And that is the source of decay, breakdown, destruction. So that's what things like happen. An interplay between death and life, destruction and construction. The constructive force is called the separatic force. That's spelled Sephiroth. That's the building force. Whenever the imbalance between the nephrotic force, destructive force, and the constructive or the separatic force becomes imbalanced, and you have more negative energy force than positive energy force, disease manifests. Are you with me? Yeah. And these forces attach themselves, these spirits attach themselves to what is called your aura. That energy or that light that extends from your body, it becomes attached to it. How? Through your preoccupation with negative thoughts, behaviors, and ideas. So in other words, you attract those negative forces into your life through your lifestyle. So if you are a perpetually negative person, if you are a perpetually evil-hearted person, filled with jealousy and hate and anger, what kind of anger? Particularly when you are angry to the point of it turns from anger into bitterness, into malice. Something happens. Maybe you didn't get the job that you want. Maybe you didn't get the husband or the house that you like. Maybe you didn't get the wife, or maybe you ran into a situation where somebody mistreated you, and you harbor that anger, and that anger festered, and that anger boiled, and that anger begins to turn into hate and envy and malice. What has happened to you is that you are attracting what is called detritus. That's Detritus. That means dirt. Detritus is a spiritual force of dirtiness, what we call unclean, impure. And there are spirits that are attracted to your thoughts and your feelings and your behaviors and your lifestyle. And they attract themselves and get stuck in your aura. And they are attracted by you and they become attached to you. That's why it's hard to break it. That's why it's hard to get out of it. And it happens not only with individuals, it happens with collective individuals that we call family